Imagine just for a moment that every thought you have is like a seed. Every single one. Now, some of these seeds grow into towering, beautiful trees, while others wither and die before they ever reach the sun. The difference isn't luck. It isn't chance. It isn't even talent. The difference is control over the inner world. And what I want to talk to you about today is this, the power of controlling the inner world. Because when you master the inner, the outer cannot help but follow. Now, I want you to stop and consider something most people never stop to consider. Every day, we go through life as though the world is happening to us. Problems arise, opportunities appear, events unfold, and we respond. But what if I told you that the world you see outside is merely a reflection of what's inside? What if the circumstances, the challenges, the successes, and the failures are only echoes of the landscape of your mind? Would that change the way you think? Would that make you start paying attention to the thoughts you allow to live inside you? There is a story I like to tell because it captures this truth perfectly. There was once a man struggling in his career, overwhelmed by debt, and convinced that life had somehow turned against him. Every morning he woke up feeling defeated. Every opportunity seemed to slip through his fingers, and he began to believe that the world outside was his enemy. One day, someone asked him a simple question. "What are you thinking about right now?" He paused, and for the first time he realized that his mind was filled with worry, fear, and self-doubt. He had been tending to a garden of negative thoughts and had never planted anything positive. The change began when he started to plant better seeds. Every morning he would visualize his goals, think of solutions instead of problems, and imagine himself succeeding instead of failing. He would tell himself, even on the darkest days, that he had the power to change his circumstances. Slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, the outer world began to shift. Doors he thought were closed began to open. Opportunities he didn't see before became visible. People he had never imagined meeting came into his life. And all of this started because he learned to control his inner world. Now here's something very important. This is not a magic trick. There is no secret formula that will instantly change your life overnight. But there is a principle that is consistent, dependable, and always at work whether you realize it or not. The law of cause and effect. Your inner thoughts are the cause. Your outer circumstances are the effect. Change the cause, and the effect must eventually change. Ignore the cause, and you will continue to live as though life is random and unfair. Let me ask you a question. How often do you allow yourself to be consumed by negative thoughts? How often do you replay failures, mistakes, or missed opportunities in your mind? And how often do you simply drift through life, hoping that success will come knocking at your door, without ever tending to your own inner garden? These are important questions, because the answers will reveal whether you are truly living or merely existing. The inner world is like the captain of a ship. If the captain is confused, fearful, or distracted, the ship will drift, tossed about by every wave and storm. But if the captain is disciplined, focused, and confident, the ship will navigate through the fiercest storms and reach its destination. The outer world, the ship, the sea, the weather is not in your control, but the captain, the inner mind, is entirely within your power to command. Think about the great achievers of our world, those who have risen to the heights of success, influence, and impact. What do they all have in common? It's not that they had perfect circumstances, abundant wealth, or a guaranteed path. It's that they learned to control their inner world. They trained their minds to see opportunity where others saw obstacles. They disciplined their thoughts, their beliefs, and their actions to align with the outcomes they desired. They understood that success begins internally long before it manifests externally. Let me give you an example. Thomas Edison, one of the greatest inventors of all time, failed thousands of times before he perfected the light bulb. Most people would have given up, thinking the world was against them. But Edison understood the inner world. He framed each failure as a step forward, a lesson, a necessary part of the journey. His mind was his laboratory. He cultivated persistence, curiosity, and resilience. And eventually the outer world, his inventions, his recognition, his impact, followed naturally. And this is the truth. No one else can control your inner world for you. Your environment, your upbringing, or even the people around you can influence your thoughts temporarily, but only you have the ultimate authority over what you allow to live inside your mind. And here's the challenge. Most people give this power away without even realizing it. They let fear, doubt, and negativity set up camp inside their minds. They let criticism, comparison, and self-limiting beliefs dictate their actions. and then they wonder why life isn't going their way. But the good news, the truly liberating news, is that it's never too late. The moment you decide to take responsibility for your thoughts, your beliefs, and your attitudes, you reclaim the power to shape your life. You can choose optimism over pessimism, courage over fear, and action over inaction. And as you do, the outer world, like a faithful mirror, will begin to reflect the inner transformation you have cultivated. Now, some of you may be thinking, this all sounds great, but how do I actually control my inner world? How do I change my thoughts when they feel automatic, when they are ingrained from years of habit? And that is the right question, because it is the question that separates those who dream from those who achieve. The first step is awareness. Begin by noticing your thoughts. Catch yourself when you dwell on what's wrong, when you replay old mistakes, or when you allow fear to take the driver's seat. Awareness is the key that unlocks the door to change. You cannot fix what you do not see. The second step is choice. Once you are aware of your thoughts, you have the power to choose which ones to nourish and which ones to discard. Think of it as tending your mental garden. Water the seeds of possibility, gratitude, and courage. Pull out the weeds of doubt, resentment, and worry. This takes practice, patience, and persistence, but it is within your reach. The third step is repetition. Our minds are like muscles. The more we practice positive, constructive thinking, the stronger it becomes. Just as an athlete trains every day to build strength, endurance, and skill, you must train your mind every day to think in ways that serve your goals. This is not a one-time effort. It is a lifelong commitment to growth. And here is where curiosity plays a vital role. Ask yourself questions that expand your perspective. What is possible if I truly believed in myself? What opportunities am I overlooking right now? What lessons can I learn from this challenge? Curiosity shifts your mind from fear and limitation to exploration and possibility. It opens doors that fear would keep locked forever. Remember this: your outer world will never surpass the limits of your inner world. Your circumstances, your career, your relationships, and your achievements are reflections of what you believe, what you expect, and what you consistently allow yourself to focus on. If you want a different life, you must begin by changing your inner world. If you want abundance, you must first cultivate a mindset of abundance. If you want courage, you must first nurture courage within. Consider this: every human being has the same 24 hours, the same basic resources, the same opportunities for growth. What differentiates those who succeed from those who fail is rarely talent or luck. It is the mastery of the inner world. It is the ability to think clearly, act decisively, and respond to circumstances rather than be ruled by them. It is the understanding that the mind is the ultimate tool, and the world is shaped by the mind that wields it. I want to leave you with a vision. Imagine waking up every morning with complete control over your thoughts. Imagine starting your day with clarity, focus, and purpose. Imagine facing challenges not with fear, but with confidence. Imagine seeing opportunities where others see obstacles. Imagine knowing that your outer world is not a random set of events, but a reflection of the powerful, disciplined, and creative mind that you nurture every single day. This is not a dream. This is not a fantasy. This is a reality available to anyone willing to take responsibility for their inner world. The moment you decide to control your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs, you ignite a chain reaction that cannot be stopped. The outer world, with all its seeming randomness, will begin to align with the inner world you have mastered. And now I pose a question to you. Are you willing to take control of your inner world? Are you willing to plant the seeds of possibility, discipline, and courage? Are you willing to tend your mind with the same care that a gardener tends a precious garden? Because if you are, there is no limit to what you can achieve. Every great life, every remarkable achievement, and every moment of true fulfillment begins within. The outer world will always follow. And as you take command of your inner world, you will find that the life you once imagined is not only possible, it is inevitable. Now let me tell you something most people never realize. Success is not a matter of circumstance, it's a matter of focus. And focus is the currency of the mind. When you focus on fear, failure, or limitation, you invest your energy in poverty, struggle, and disappointment. But when you focus on growth, opportunity, and possibility, you plant seeds that will inevitably blossom into success. The question is simple. Where are you investing your attention right now? Think about it. Every thought you entertain shapes the person you become. Every belief you hold determines the life you live. It is as though your mind is a sculptor, and your thoughts are the chisel. What are you carving? Are you crafting a life of purpose, achievement, and fulfillment, or are you unconsciously shaping a life of regret, frustration, and missed chances? This is why control of the inner world is not optional, it is essential. There's a story that illustrates this perfectly. There were two men born in the same town, raised in similar circumstances. One man decided early in life to control his thoughts, to cultivate a mindset of optimism, discipline, and resilience. The other allowed fear, doubt, and negativity to dominate his mind. As they grew, the first man saw doors open where others saw walls, opportunities where others saw obstacles, and solutions where others saw problems. The second man watched life happen to him, never realizing that the power to change it had always been in his hands. And here's the lesson. It is never the world that holds you back. It is your mind. Your fears, your doubts, your lack of focus, and your unwillingness to take control of your inner dialogue are the only true obstacles. The moment you master your inner world, the outer world bends to your will. And when I say master, I do not mean perfection. I mean awareness, responsibility, and deliberate action. So how do you begin? The first step is to recognize the power of your thoughts. Most people underestimate it. They believe that external events are more influential than they actually are. They blame luck, fate, or other people for the outcomes of their lives. But the truth is that your thoughts, your expectations, and your attitude create the lens through which you experience the world. Change the lens and the world itself changes. Next, commit to cultivating positive, constructive thoughts. Start small if you must. Begin by observing your internal dialogue, catching negative thoughts as they arise, and consciously replacing them with thoughts that serve your goals. It may feel strange at first, but like any skill, it grows stronger with practice. The more you focus on solutions rather than problems, on opportunity rather than fear, the more naturally your mind will align with success. And don't underestimate the power of visualization. The mind cannot distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is real. Picture yourself achieving your goals. See yourself overcoming obstacles. Hear the sounds, feel the emotions, experience the success in your mind first. This trains your inner world to recognize and create possibilities that the untrained mind would overlook. Now, consider the role of belief. Belief is the bridge between thought and reality. Without belief, even the most powerful thoughts cannot manifest. Most people fail because they think positively for a moment, but fail to truly believe in their ability to achieve. Belief is not blind faith. It is the steady conviction that your inner efforts will inevitably produce outer results. It is the quiet, unwavering trust in the process of mastering your mind. And here is where curiosity comes in again. Ask yourself, what would I attempt if I knew I could not fail? What dreams would I pursue if I fully believed in my own abilities? What actions would I take if doubt were impossible? These questions are not just exercises, they are gateways to a new reality. They force your mind to expand, to entertain possibilities that fear would never allow, and to align your inner world with the life you desire. Persistence is another key. Control of the inner world is not a one-time achievement. It is a daily practice, a lifelong commitment. There will be setbacks, distractions, and moments of doubt. Even the greatest minds and most accomplished individuals experience these. But the difference is that they persist. They continue to cultivate their inner landscape, knowing that the outer world will follow. They understand that patience and consistency in thought are the silent architects of achievement. Let me give you an example. Consider someone like Helen Keller, who overcame extraordinary obstacles to learn, achieve, and inspire millions. Her success was not a matter of circumstance, it was mastery of the inner world. She refused to allow limitations to dominate her thoughts. She cultivated belief, focus, and resilience. And the outer world, with all its challenges, followed the path she carved inside herself. And here is another truth. The people you spend time with, the media you consume, and the environment you inhabit all affect your inner world. Choose them carefully. Surround yourself with those who inspire, challenge, and elevate your thinking. Consume ideas, stories, and knowledge that expand your mind rather than constrict it. Treat your inner world as a sacred space, worthy of careful cultivation, protection, and nourishment. Now I want to bring your attention to one of the most misunderstood aspects of success, the power of action. Thoughts, visualization, and belief are vital, but they are incomplete without action. The inner world sets the course, but it is action that propels the ship forward. And here is the beautiful part. When your inner world is aligned, your thoughts clear, your beliefs strong, your focus unwavering, your actions become effortless, purposeful, and powerful. You move through life with direction, clarity, and momentum. Ask yourself this: how often do you act despite fear? How often do you take steps forward even when uncertainty looms? And how often do you pause to ensure that your inner world is guiding your actions rather than letting impulsive thoughts, emotions, or external pressures dictate them? These are the questions that distinguish those who live deliberately from those who drift. Control of the inner world also brings a remarkable gift: emotional freedom. When you master your thoughts and beliefs, you are no longer hostage to circumstances, criticism, or adversity. Challenges become opportunities. Setbacks become lessons. Fear becomes a signal, not a command. And in this freedom, you discover a power that is greater than any external condition: the power to choose your response, your focus, and your attitude in every situation. Think about this. Every decision you make, every word you speak, every action you take is filtered through your inner world. When that inner world is clear, disciplined, and aligned with your highest goals, your outer life follows naturally. You become a magnet for opportunity, success, and fulfillment. The outer world, in a sense, is no longer a force to struggle against. It is a mirror reflecting the power, clarity, and determination you cultivate within. And here is a final thought to carry with you. Most people spend their lives chasing success in the outer world, never realizing that the true work is inward. They chase promotions, money, recognition, and achievements, thinking that these will bring happiness, fulfillment, and security. But the reality is that lasting success, true fulfillment, and genuine happiness begin inside. The inner world is the seed, the outer world is the fruit. Tend the seed carefully, and the harvest is inevitable. Now, I want you to reflect on this. What seeds are you planting in your mind today? Are they seeds of fear, doubt, and limitation? Or are they seeds of courage, belief, and possibility? The choice is yours. The responsibility is yours. And the power is yours. Because once you take control of your inner world, once you consciously cultivate your thoughts, beliefs, and attitudes, you will notice something remarkable. The outer world begins to align. Challenges seem smaller. Opportunities seem clearer, and your life moves with a sense of purpose and direction you may never have imagined possible. And so I leave you with this understanding: the life you dream of, the success you aspire to, the impact you wish to have, none of it begins outside. It begins within. The inner world is the workshop, the training ground, and the launch pad. Master it, and the outer world cannot help but follow.